Welcome back to the Punzi Grange. Today we're going to be planting some spuds, potatoes. But if you remember last time, we compared the potato that I had to dahlias which we planted, and I wanted to show you what the dahlia looks like now. This is about a month ago, and it's been in my sunroom, so it's had some nice warmth and sun and heat, and I wanted just you to see how that looks. Now we're going to actually plant some potatoes. The potatoes I showed you were fingerling potatoes, and I grew them last year, and I stored them in this bag and hung them in my shed. The variety is called Cheeka's Ozette. And what's interesting about these potatoes, they are fingerling potatoes, but they are also grown by the Neah Bay Tribe. And the story surrounding this is that they came to the United States, to the Pacific Northwest, to the Indians, by the explorers who came up from Spain in the 1700s, and they brought these potatoes. And they've been growing them ever since. And a place in Idaho called Roningers got it from Cheeka, who was a Macaw Indian of the Neah Bay Tribe, and so they named it after her, since she was the one who gave them in the 1980s. And now we can grow them, and they're one of the tastiest fingerling potatoes. And what's different about a fingerling potato is that, unlike normal spuds that you get, russet potatoes that are big and round, these are more finger-shaped, or maybe like a thumb. And the eyes are almost in concentric circles around, rather than equidistant moving around. So there's a little bit difference in the eyes. So when we plant these, sometimes you hear about cutting potatoes before you plant them. If they're smaller than a chicken's egg, then you can just leave them whole, which is what I prefer. So all these that I collected last year were the small ones that I knew I'd be planting this year, so that I wouldn't have to cut them and worry about treating them or any kind of infections getting into the cut or the wound. But during storage, some things can happen. Freezing and thawing, the temperature in the shed wasn't moderated, so there was some freezing, and sometimes things can get damaged. So you want to make sure they're nice and firm. Let me show you one here that I wouldn't plant. You can actually see it starting to ooze water. It's very soft and spongy. I should cut it in half, see what it looks like inside. Oh yeah, you can see all that juice coming out of it. That's not something you want to plant. And I'm sure it doesn't smell good, but I'm not going to check. So we'll just put this on the side. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you my trick for growing potatoes. We're going to, this bed was prepared, and we're going to put in a trench, about an 8-inch trench. So I'll grab my spade. You could do this with a hoe, but I like to kind of do it with a spade. You can just kind of work it. Let it go in. Now we pull the soil, because what we're going to do later, as the season progresses, we are actually going to keep building up the soil around the potatoes. The reason is that the potatoes only will form potatoes from where they're planted and up. They won't send any shoots down below. So you actually get more potatoes per square foot if you hill up. So let's even this out nice. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Get it a little bit deeper. Okay, now we'll put the potatoes in, and I plant them about a foot apart. It doesn't really matter. And if an eye happens to pop off while you're planting, don't worry about it, it'll grow back. So here we go, we put some in every foot. And then I'll fill it in. We'll finish the whole trench later. We'll get some of this nice compost. Oop, shovel. Now look at that. That's some nice stuff. And we fill in with compost. And the reason I like to fill in with compost is because I found that potato pieces that go into my compost pile actually get no scab. Then we just even it out, tamp it down, and then as they come up, we'll fill in from the sides. Until next time, this is Peter Punsley, Horticulture Guy. Live long and garden.